You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. Time to talk free movies with Chris Woolsey of Vizio TV. Vizio, home of the Vizio Watch Free Plus app.
KFI, it's Later with Mo Kelly, live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. Let's talk some movies, but free movies. Vizio TV's Watch Free Plus app movies with Chris Woolsey, Associate Director of Communications. How you doing, my friend?
I am well. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm still recuperating from the 4th of July weekend.
That I am as well.
I did a little too much on Friday.
I did too. I took my daughter to the Anime Expo down at Crypto.
Oh, you did go?
I did, and we cosplayed and everything.
Did you tell Twala?
I did not.
Oh, because he's the one. He's the anime expert around here.
Is he? Okay.
Oh, yes,
I'll hit him up on the way out then.
Yes.
Yep. We had a grand time, but I think I walked 25,000 steps or some crazy thing and almost had to get carried to the car.
Not good.
No. So I feel you.
We're close in age. And I mention that because we know good and well it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
That it is.
Speaking of 4th of July, it's set on the 4th of July.
Yep.
But it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jaws did not get to benefit, the franchise did not get to benefit, by and large, from all of the good things which came out of it. In other words, you had this cottage industry of shark movies decades later.
Yes.
But they had nothing to do with Jaws. You had Sharknado and any other. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I think it was a incredibly original idea. And I think Spielberg was an unbelievably talented. I think he was a genius. I think it was lightning in a bottle. And I think he touched on something that was so primal.
The fear aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember as a kid, my sisters told me they went to go see Jaws. I couldn't go see it because I was too little. And they came back from the theater and told me that Jaws got into a swimming pool in the movie.
Oh, that's so wrong.
It was so wrong. And of course, we had a swimming pool. And so I was terrified the entire summer going into my swimming pool that somehow the logic held that there was going to be a shark getting into my swimming pool. So
the reason I mentioned that, because on the Watch Free Plus app, you have Shark Attack on Vizio's Watch Free Plus app. How did you decide that, and what do you think about that, given the backdrop of what Jaws did?
Sure. So we at Vizio, we love movies, and so we get together at least once a quarter, and we just sit down. The marketing team and the geniuses in our programming team and acquisitions, and we all get together and we go, what are we excited about doing next? And we all got together, and our programming team is just amazing. And we started talking about shark movies and just how much we all love them. And they're so much fun. And we were like, well, it's going to be perfect. It's going to line up with the summer. Mm-hmm. We're going to get every shark movie we can. You know, there's Shark Week on Discovery and all that. So it makes sense there. And we're just going to pack. We have almost 50 shark movies, I think, on
50
on the Shark Attack Hub. I mean, we have, and we'll talk about some specifics, but ridiculous sand shark, mountain shark, Santa Jaws. I think we have it's the most ridiculous list of shark movies. Shark Lake with Dolph Lundgren, who, by the way, I think we've talked about this before, is a Fulbright scholar.
He's brilliant.
He is.
Yes.
He is. Yeah. He has his master's degree in chemical engineering.
He's smarter than me. That's all I know.
This is true.
I mention that also because this is around the time of year that we have Comic-Con. And one of my fondest memories, and I know Tuala will remember this, we had a chance to interview the director of Sharknado 1 and 2, Anthony C. Ferrante.
Yes.
Can you tell me that there's any Sharknado coming up on Vizio Watch Free TV Plus?
We have the Sharknado trifecta at the moment. So we have Sharknado 1, and then because there were so many unanswered questions, there is Sharknado 2, and then, of course, 3. So we have the entire canon, as it were, of Sharknado films. Ian Ziering at his finest, Tara Reid, John Hurd.
It is so strange how that just became a phenomenon, because the whole idea is ridiculous on its face.
Yes.
But then it just turned into this phenomenon.
So it has made over $4 billion with a B worldwide, the franchise.
Ow!
And the funniest part of this is Steve Guttenberg was apparently offered one of the lead roles when they were casting the film, and he turned it down, saying, "This is ridiculous. It's never going to make any money." And then, of course, Ian Ziering bought 14 vacation homes with the money that he made on this franchise. And then
he made more money on this than he did Beverly Hills 90210, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that is correct. I'm not his accountant, but I'm going to say yes. And then, so Steve Guttenberg immediately said yes to the spin-off film La Valantula that the same production entity made.
Okay, outside of Sharknado 1, 2, and 3, what else do you have coming? I don't want to say it's for Shark Week, but we'll call it Shark Attack.
It is definitely the Shark Attack Hub, and you can watch the Shark Attack Hub on your Vizio TV by going to the on-demand section for Watch Free Plus, or if you don't have a Vizio TV, you can download the free Vizio app, and there is a Shark Attack channel that you can watch on your mobile device. But I think this is actually my current favorite shark film outside of Jaws, and that is 2003's Open Water.
I saw that. Wait a minute. They did more than one of those, didn't they?
They did 3. So I
didn't know that. I saw the first one, but I didn't see the other 2.
We have the trifecta of Open Water as well, based on a true story of Tom and Eileen Lonergan, who were left in shark-infested waters in the Great Barrier Reef when their scuba diving crews left without them.
Did that company ever get sued?
I believe they folded, if I'm not mistaken.
That's usually a company killer, no pun intended.
Yeah, one would think. Yeah, definitely. It's hard to get back in the game after doing something like that.
Give me 1, 2, or 3 more real quick before we go to break.
I will give you 3 more, and that is the 2022 franchise Bull Shark. Now,
watch your mouth.
Exactly. Now, I'm not sure if you know this fact, but bull sharks can actually reset their metabolism to live in fresh water.
I did not know that.
And there is a lake in South America, Lake Nicaragua, which is full of bull sharks, which occasionally attack people. So the Bull Shark franchise posits the question, what would happen if bull sharks got into a lake in America?
Well, we know that means people have to die, but unfortunately, that's how the shark movies go.
They catch bull sharks in the Mississippi River all the time. They caught one in Alton, Illinois, 1,000 miles from the Gulf of Mexico.
So that's why I stay my ass out of the water.
I don't blame you
the worst
at
thing,
all.
Not that I would get into the Mississippi River, but if I were to die because of a shark in the Mississippi River.
Seriously. Yeah, you'd be like, I need a judge's ruling on this.
Yeah, it's like, that's not fair. Wrong. I'm not supposed to encounter a shark. I like how you did that, Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. I just snuck that in there.
When we come back, we have to talk about your full throttle summer on the Watch Free Plus app.
You got it.
And I'm looking at this list. Yeah. Mm-hmm,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
I put this together with you in mind. So
I appreciate you. You paid close attention to me, I can tell. We'll have more with Chris Woolsey in just a moment of Vizio TV. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. I'm still joined in studio by Chris Woolsey of Vizio TV, and we're discussing the latest offerings on the Watch Free Plus app. Last segment, Chris, we talked about Shark Attack, where you told us about Sharknado 1, 2, and 3, Open Water 1, 2, and 3, and Bull Shark 1, 2, and 3, which are available and free. And now let's talk about Full Throttle Summer on the Watch Free Plus app.
Excellent. Yes. And, so you and I have talked before about the struggles in the theaters, trying to get people into the theaters, trying to get enough good movies into the theaters to get people to actually go to physical locations to watch movies. And we just thought, well, if people aren't going to be going to the theaters to see action films. If there aren't enough great action films to attract people, we're going to bring it to Watch Free Plus so people can watch them for free.
I can dig it. What's up first?
So Full Throttle Summer, it's a great hub. There's tons, and just like Shark Attack, if you have the mobile, there's a Full Throttle Summer channel, and then you've got the hub for Full Throttle Summer on the on-demand experience. We obviously have talked about good Sir Bruce Willis many a times, and he has, like Nick Cage, he has a whole spectrum of films that a lot of people either missed when they were out or they forgot about, and there's just some hidden gems there. One of them is the 2020 film Breach, which is a sci-fi film.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's fun. It's basically Alien meets Night of the Living Dead. So he's on a spaceship that's traveling, and while there's a few people that are like in there's like millions of people on this ship that are in cryostasis, and then there's a crew who are actually awake and operating the ship. And I'm not going to blow it for you, but a presence gets onto the ship that begins
probably an alien presence,
quite possibly.
Not definitely, but probably.
Presence. Yes. And it's starring obviously Bruce Willis, Cody Hersley from Riverdale, who played Moose, Rachel Nichols from A Million Little Things, and it is pretty terrifying. It has all of the jump scares of the Alien films that everybody loves, but also the infection of like a zombie infection. I don't know. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay, I know you got some Nicolas Cage for me, because I think of action, I think of Nicolas Cage.
Always, as well you should. And we do. We've got 2019 Running with the Devil. Great cast. Nicolas Cage, Lawrence Fishburne, Cole Hauser, who I love.
He's always great. He may not be a leading man, but he's great in movies like Pitch Black.
Yes.
That's
right. I forgot he was
in Pitch yes. Black. I'm a Cole Hauser fan.
Yeah.
He's a good a-hole.
He's a really good a-hole.
He's probably a nice guy in real life. I just don't say.
Absolutely. But man, he nails the a-hole. Barry Pepper, who I think is one of the most underutilized dramatic actors. Leslie Bibb from Iron Man. It's about the CEO of a multinational conglomerate, played by Barry Pepper, sends his two best executives on this wild goose chase that ends up is about why the conglomerate's drug supply is getting hijacked. So it ends up this multinational conglomerate is actually running drugs, and Nicolas Cage and Lawrence Fishburne get out to the middle of nowhere to try to figure out what exactly is going on. And it is super intense, lots of intrigue and espionage and tons of fun action, as you'd always expect with young Mr. Cage.
Yes, I appreciate young Mr. Cage more so than older Mr. Cage. Sometimes he just kind of mails it in.
Sure.
But he's eminently watchable, and he's someone I'm always going to watch regardless.
We always say that he's like microwave pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
It's still edible.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, give me one more. Oh, yes.
I put this on specifically for you.
Thank you very much.
So this is 2021 action flick, Night of the Sicario, which is not part of the Sicario franchise.
No, it can be confusing.
Yes, and I didn't realize Sicario is the Spanish word for hitman, which I didn't realize, even though I had watched both the Sicario films and just never looked that up. So, but it is starring Natasha Henstridge.
The very lovely
from Species.
Yes.
Which I went to go see just before moving, after I graduated from college, just before I moved to Los Angeles, and that sealed my desire to work in the entertainment industry just so I could work with her. And
Michael Madsen was in that.
He
just recently passed. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Natasha Henstridge, she can come on the show anytime.
Okay. Well,
not you, but she can.
Right. Absolutely. Manny Perez is in it. Costas Mandylor from the Saw franchise. But it's really good. It's a police officer has to hide a young girl in witness relocation or witness protection. because she's going to testify against a big drug lord. And then, of course, the drug lord sends every assassin known to man to try to kill this little girl.
It's a story which may ring familiar, but it's still told well.
Absolutely. Yep. Very fun.
Now, how many movies did you have to maybe sift through to narrow it down to these that you wanted to feature on the Watch Free Plus app?
Quite a few, but the fun thing about Full Throttle Summer is they drop new movies every week. So every Friday,
that's key.
There are 2 fresh movies thrown into the mix. So even if you go and you don't see anything that you're super excited about, check back on Friday because boom, there's 2 more blockbusters that we're going to drop. So
we're talking about the Watch Free Plus app on Vizio TV. And for those who don't know, we always need to reset it so they know how they can find it, where it is it something they download, all the particulars.
Exactly. So if you have a Vizio TV, it's already pre-installed. You just turn it on. There on the home screen, click on the Watch Free Plus icon, and it'll open the app up for you. You can start watching immediately. There's tens of thousands of free TV shows and movies on there. If you don't have a Vizio TV, it's not a problem. You just go to your favorite app store, download the free Vizio app, sign up for a free Vizio account, go in, and there are over 300 free streaming channels, each one built around a different genre or subject matter, and there are tens of thousands of free titles on there.
And we love some free. I mean, seriously. And sometimes we take for granted how much good stuff is out there, but available for free, and there's no need to just pay for things unnecessarily.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can have a couple of subscriptions, but
of course,
utilize the free. The free is there for you.
Now, we need to get this on Mark Ronner's TV, if only because he is our in-house reviewer of both movies and also platforms.
Well, you got my attention with the Space Zombie one, Breach?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see that.
See?
Very fun. Highly recommended.
Chris Woolsey, how can people find you real quick?
I am on several of the social medias, IDGHAYZOOS on Twitter. I'm Chris Woolsey on Facebook, Instagram. I think I'm CS Woolsey. Hit me up. And of course, Vizio and Watch Free Plus. We've got handles all over the place, so you can find us. And hit me up. I need more friends. So.
I'm going to hit you up, and hopefully we'll get to see you in maybe 2 weeks.
You will, as a matter of fact, just before I head out for my European vacation.
Oh, where are you going? Real quick.
We're going to Paris. We're going to Bruges. We're going to Amsterdam. And then we are going to Spain, to the countryside. My sister, sainted sister, and her beautiful husband have a little house out in the middle of Spain, and we are going to do nothing.
All right.
I'm excited.
Well, please take some pictures for us.
I will.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. I grew up with Superman. I was not a comic book reader, but I was a great fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. For many people, he is the Superman. Yes, I did watch the George Reeves Superman TV show where he's laying down on the table and looking like he's flying or some approximation of that.
All right, look.
Where they're flapping the cake behind them.
Yeah, just
Yes.
listen. You can't defend the special effects in those because they're prehistoric, but the stories are really, really good.
absolutely.
But that's the reason
Absolutely.
I mentioned it, because there is a common theme and thread which ran through all things Superman. The reason we're talking about this because the James Gunn Superman movie, which arguably is the most anticipated movie of the summer, drops officially on the 11th, which is it'll probably be in theaters, in some select theaters. What is today, the 8th? On the 10th.
It is. There are shows that are now starting as early as 2:30 on Thursday. Mark and I will be there at 12:30 a.m.
Here is what Fox News, across a number of shows, you're going to hear a number of voices, had to say about this movie, sight unseen, just some of the imagery and some of the comments made by its director, James Gunn. And if you don't know who he is, he did Guardians of the Galaxy. And he's done
Peacemaker.
That's right.
Harley Quinn shows that he's nerd certified.
Right. You know his work, but this is what Fox News had to say.
Fights for truth, justice, and your preferred pronouns. The new Superman is going woke. You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
Wow.
Is it superimposed or it actually says that?
It's super.
Just on the knuckles. One more thing.
We're getting a woke Superman. Are you excited?
No.
The actual actor, his name is David Cornsweet. He found himself unable to say Superman's slogan, quote, truth, fighting for truth, justice, in the American way. He said, truth, justice, and all those good things. We don't go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody throw their ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be successful.
He got canceled. Remember James Gunn over some pedophile joke tweets? So this is probably his way to get himself back into the good graces. He's creating a moat of woke, enlightened opinion around him.
Got a woke shield.
He's got a woke shield.
A woke moat.
Where is Superman from?
Krypton.
Krypton? Ah. So that makes him a kryptonite.
That's what hurts him. But he nestled in so well into middle America, right? As a baby. It's hard to believe he was some disadvantaged immigrant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's exactly. He's the good guy. He's assimilated.
He assimilated.
He took down 2 jobs.
Exactly. So now I know that you want me to see the film to get your political message, and I'm not down.
I got to look at the script. He's from Uganda. And there's a love scene with Batman and Robin.
Wow.
Okay, all the disrespect aside, I'm going to try to approach this from a semi-serious standpoint. Those people, those individuals have absolutely no idea who Superman, the character, was, is, and has always been. Let me be absolutely clear. If you want to look at it through a lens of only 2025 political discussions in America, then yes, you're going to come to that conclusion. Let me just say this, and I'm going to pass off to Mark, who's a comic book expert in that regard. Superman, yes, terminology aside, he's not an American. He's not even an Earthling. He's an illegal alien, legal immigrant, undocumented. He came to Earth and happened to land in Kansas. He didn't adopt America. He just happened to land in Kansas. His parents, Jonathan and Martha Kent, forged documents so he could go to school, created his birth certificate. If that sounds kind of common, okay? Then when he grew into his powers, he made a decision that he would fight for truth, justice, and the American way, depending on the iteration of him. That means fighting for people who he felt was being unjustly treated. That included fighting the Klan. That included fighting Nazis. That included marching with BLM. These are actually in the comics. And you say, well, Mo, what about the movies? That's completely different. Not really. In Superman 2, he was fighting against foreign terrorists. He was also Gene Hackman's character, Lex Luthor. They broke into the White House, and that was all about American propaganda, where he had to protect the White House. He helped rebuild the White House and replace the flag on top of the White House at the end of the movie. I say all that to say it's always been about politics. Superman 3, the movie, was about the protection of the environment / climate disasters. Superman 4 was about nuclear proliferation and the Cold War. Oh my gosh, imagine that, while both was going on. Now I yield the rest of my time to Mark Ronner and Twella Sharp.
I can barely muster up a response to that brain trust. I mean, if those geniuses are complaining that Superman's woke, just wait till they find out about Jesus. And I don't say that because I'm certain that they would find actual Jesus too woke, but because Superman has for decades and decades been explicitly modeled on Jesus. Maybe not everybody knows that, but even the Christopher Reeve movies that you and I both love, he was explicitly modeled on Jesus.
I'm sorry, can I jump in there? Because even Zack Snyder, it was explicitly modeled on Jesus. They even put Zack Snyder's Superman in the form of the crucifix in the first movie, Man of Steel.
And the opening speech, or the speech by Marlon Brando, as far as who played Jor-El in the original, why he sent his only son to the planet Earth to save the planet and to lead humanity into the light. If these Fox and idiots missed all of that, forgive me. I can't help the fact that you are so ignorant and so busy dog whistling at the moment to your lowest end of your base that you miss all of that, that you want to choose this moment to further your own propaganda while at the same time you held films like Sound of Freedom up as the pinnacle of Hollywood creation.
13th Hour.
I'm sorry. Maybe it's the type of film that you're okay with there being political values and preaching to you. I don't know.
I got to throw this in there because I forgot to throw it in there. Superman and Batman specifically stood against racism in 1950. 1950, with their comic was People Are People. Superman had a long speech defending people who could not fight against racism. And if you don't want to say, well, what about LGBTQ plus? Well, they did a comic 4 or 5 years ago where Jonathan Kent, the son of Superman, came out as gay.
Yes.
So that has been a constant theme throughout all things Superman, from comic books to movies and also television shows. I don't have time to get into the offshoots like Supergirl and what that has shown over the years.
Yeah, if you think Superman would be punching down on marginalized people, that's what Homelander on The Boys is all about. He's a satire of that.
There it is.
To me, it is bothersome that, as you said at the top, sight unseen, just going off of comments made by James Gunn, who is a champion for the people, who is a champion for those who are different, who is a champion for the LGBTQ plus IA, as our dear friend Nick Palacchini calls it, the Alphabet Mafia. James Gunn is a champion of the people. He has said, yes, if that's what you all want to call it, fine. This is a film about an immigrant who has come to this country.
Who better? Who are you saying that the guy from another world who felt marginalized and didn't fit in, did not belong, was not legally in the country, would be anti-immigrant? Is that what you're telling me? The person who fights for truth, justice, and the American way, he would be out there helping the ICE raids?
And this is really, really interesting because these same comments were not lauded at Superman, Man of Steel. They were not. Zack Snyder.
Hey, talk about political. Damn, Superman was before a congressional hearing, and they were trying him as a terrorist because they wanted to see if he was loyal to the United States.
And he said, I am loyal to the world. To the world. I fight for the world. Everyone can get saved. Everyone.
And they showed him going all around the world saving cats in a tree or people in a burning. It was I think it was in Mexico. It was like a textile house.
Yes.
All of this has been intentional, and it has been consistent with the idea of Superman since 1938.
I should also add that the American Way thing was not originally a part of the Superman comic book.
That's correct.
That was added.
Yes,
that was added later on. Truth, Justice, and the American Way was part of the radio series, and it became popular.
That's the propaganda portion.
It became popular during World War II, and there was a very specific reason for a little bit of jingoism during World War II that we don't really need today.
But more broadly, the comic book characters were always a part of the political times in which they were created and existed. They spoke to the issues of the day, be it in newsreels, be it in comic books, be it in TV shows, be it in movies. As it so happens today, the issue has to do with immigration.
And to that point, I believe that the change in the Superman slogan actually fits better with where this planet is now and where we need to be going, where it is now truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Hold that thought. We got more when we come back. KFI AM 640, we're talking Superman, the new movie, and also the pushback from Fox News and where the truth may lie.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and social media. We're right in the middle of a conversation, a spirited conversation, talking about the new movie Superman. Twala and Mark will see it before the week is out. I hope to see it by the end of the weekend. It's arguably the most anticipated movie of not only the summer, but the year, the James Gunn movie Superman. And to quickly recap, Fox hosts and commentators had a field day saying it was woke. If you see the movie, you're going to be lectured. They're basically insulting as many people as possible, saying that this Superman would have MS-13 on his cape. He's from Uganda and probably would kiss Batman and Robin. But my point is, all those insults aside, it shows an ignorance about the history of the character. Superman has always been on the side of those who could not fight for themselves. He has always been anti-racism. So if you're going to call him woke now, you're just not freaking paying attention. He has always been fighting for those who did not have the strength to fight for themselves. And if you want to put it in a contemporary context, that would include people who are immigrants, which is different from immigration law and deportation. If you want to talk about what's happening right now, and I've said it before, it has to do with methods and tactics. Superman was fighting racism in the 1950s in the comic book form. In his movies, they have been always overtly political. Always. You may not have recognized it. You may have agreed with it, but they've always been overtly political. This is not any different. Superman has already always chosen a side. That's the whole freaking point. He would not let social unrest just happen. In the comics, he marched with BLM. He has always chosen a side.
Well, what do you think it means to insult a superhero by calling him woke? What do they think superheroes are?
I mean, literally, superheroes, they stand not only for the best inside, and they're supposed to give us something to strive for, something to look up to, and something to want to aspire to be like. But at the same time, superheroes are not beholden to any political party, any state, any nation, for the most part, even no matter where they're from. I mean, hell, Green Lantern, he literally polices the entire galaxy surrounding our planet. Wonder Woman, she comes from a nation that separated itself from mankind because of the evils of mankind. And Wonder Woman also was sent to say, hey, be a beacon of light. Show mankind that there is a better way. This is the lore of DC comic books. Batman fought against crime and corruption, not just crime on the streets, but Batman also fought against crime within, as Bruce Wayne, against corporate crime and things like that, and bringing light to underhanded business dealings. This is just what comic books do.
And do you think Superman was going to side with Lex Luthor, the oligarch?
I think the people you played in the clip would side with Lex Luthor.
And they would, and that's why they find the whole idea of this movie distasteful, because it offends their political sensibilities, and they have no understanding of the history of the character or the director. None.
Superheroes are not bullies. They put themselves between the bully and the victim. And you got to wonder what these people are rooting for who complain that Superman is, quote, woke.
Yeah. Again, sight unseen. There is a very, very common theme that is happening right now when it comes to quote unquote superhero stories that star people of color, that star women, or that have
we're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah, hell yes. They have themes that are against the status quo. Ironheart, sight unseen, was absolutely trashed just because you have a young black woman starring in a series.
And before anyone tries to disagree with that, they were review bombing it before they saw anything. So it was only their feeling about the series and who was starring in the series and the importance placed on the lead character in the series, not actually the qualitative analysis of the series.
Some of the commentary said, once again, we have to have some woman saving the day. Literally, that's a comment that was
that's one of the nicer ones.
Yes. Like, what world do we live in where that's a problem?
So that's just inherently offensive to them?
Yes. Once again, we live in a time where people expect our news and media to affirm us, to reflect what we want to believe, already believe, or think which is most valuable in society. And I'm not going to go too deep with this. I'm going to try to keep it in the Superman realm and not confuse it and conflate it with Marvel. But if you say that Superman is woke and that is somehow wrong or antithetical to the character of Superman, you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about, because Superman has always stood for the same ideals regardless of decade, regardless of movie, regardless of comic book, regardless of medium. It's the same freaking motherfather guy every time. And if you're saying now that he somehow changed because he's defending the weak, or he is, I'll say, sees people of color in himself, the marginalized people who are living on the margins. If you think that that's not Superman, you just shut the F up.
I think that the three of us had our morality shaped by growing up reading superhero comic books. And when you hear fools like this make complaints like that, it almost makes no sense using English words.
It doesn't. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.